Hey gang, it's me Jake. Welcome to the Jake Show. Episode 1. Got a great first episode planned here for you. Gonna talk some movies, gonna talk some music, and at some point we'll be getting an interview with Joe Pesci. He'll be calling in to chat, so that's exciting. But in the meantime, let's talk about some movies. Now, before I talk to you about any specific movie, I want to talk about movie trailers. Now, there's been a lot said about movie trailers. They show too much information. They give away the movie. They're way too long, which this is all true. I mean, these trailers are like 5 minutes long, and they show, like 4 or 5 of them. So you've got about a 30-minute just torture period. And, for somebody like me, I've got the whole Movie Pass subscription thing. So I end up seeing about the same 5 trailers. Actually, here's what it is. You go to the movie and you probably see the same, there's 3 trailers you're guaranteed to see every time. And then depending on the movie you're seeing, there's a couple related. Like if you're seeing a horror movie, they'll show 3 trailers that are the benchmarks. And then they'll show 3 horror movie trailers. Or if you're seeing a comedy, so on and so forth. But these trailers that they show at every movie are just insufferable. And the worst of the worst is the current run of trailers for Mission Impossible Fallout. Now, this is the newest entry in the Mission Impossible franchise. Now, of course, it's Mission Impossible, so you're not expecting anything that magnificent. There's nothing that artistic about it, really. They're good for what they are. They're enjoyable, but they're certainly not, what am I going to say? What am I trying to say? They're certainly not benchmarks of filmmaking as an art or as a craft. But there's one trailer. I think it's the second or the third trailer they did for this Mission Impossible movie. And it has this Imagine Dragons song in it. I'm pretty sure they wrote it for the movie. See if we can get a little bit of it in the background here. So it starts with this weird kind of Indian rhythm, maybe some tabla. Come on. Nah. Don't sing like that. Hey, Imagine Dragons? Nah, don't sing like that. Just don't do it, Nah. Dump up the big dump. Rub down again. Sup in the middle. Going on again. And I've just seen that dang Mission Impossible trailer so many times. And I just dislike that song so much. It's like torture going to the theater and having to sit through that every single time. Really, it's the worst. But, and here's the thing, Imagine Dragons, hey, guys, movie trailer people, come on. Maybe somebody else besides Imagine Dragons for a little bit. Maybe any other band for just a trailer or 2. Why is Imagine Dragons the benchmark of movie trailers at this point? God, it's annoying, man. I don't hate Imagine Dragons. It's not like that. It's every song they make, these companies just have to push it in our face as much as they can. Imagine Dragons would not be... my feelings towards them would be mostly probably positive. But it's just every song they have, every gas station, every restaurant, every commercial, every movie trailer. It's just dude, a new Imagine Dragons song came out of my own free will. I've never listened to it, but just in the world, in nature, I've heard that song 150 times in the first week it's come out, and that's every Imagine Dragons song. Man, so I guess that wasn't so much about movie trailers, but more so about Imagine Dragons and the need for the film industry to just stop with Imagine Dragons. And while the film industry is about it, how about every other industry just, maybe go back to Lady Gaga for a little bit, maybe some Katy Perry tunes. Just don't force Imagine Dragons down our throat every 30 seconds, you know? Golly, man. And those guys release songs like every 2 days. It's like they have a new album 3 times a year. And there's 3 singles from each album. So every year is like 9 songs by Imagine. It's like you could divide the year into 9 sections. And 2017, what was quarter one's Imagine Dragons song? Oh yeah, dude, that song's, it's like, we're going to start measuring time by Imagine Dragons songs. But anyways, movies. Yeah. To go past the trailer to the meat of the experience of the movie itself, I recently saw Sicario, Day of the Soldado. And that was a good movie, man. That was a really good movie. A lot of the movies this summer have been like Avengers, Deadpool, Han Solo. Just a lot of, escapist fiction. And I love that, Give me good sci-fi, give me medieval. I love it. But every once in a while, you want a movie set in our world, a movie set in our reality. And that's what Sicario 2 is. And Sicario 2 for me, I'm a Texas boy. I'm a Texan. And, this movie essentially happened in my backyard. And to be honest, the cartel is one of those discussion topics that you hear about all the time, but what do I really know about the cartel situation? Just about nothing. So I saw Sicario 2, and afterwards I left, and I was like Googling about the cartel. I was like, is the stuff in this movie, is it true? I don't want to give too much away, but there's sort of the U.S. government has this kind of crazy plan to combat the cartels in the movie. And I was like, is it real? And I don't remember if it was real or not. But anyways, the movie was it's pretty great. Benicio del Toro's in it. He's got some serious star power. Josh Brolin is just good. He's one of those dudes who's like, well, him and Benicio del Toro, actually. I feel like if those two are in a movie, it's probably good. Scratch that. I just remembered Benicio del Toro's Wolfman movie. And I'm sure Josh Brolin has some real stankers too. But for the most part, Josh Brolin is solid. So is Benicio. Oh man, that Men in Black movie with Josh Brolin, I think it was the third one. He plays like a young, what's that guy's name? Tommy Lee Jones? Tommy Lee Jones. It's like Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones. It makes sense that Josh Brolin would play a young Tommy Lee Jones too. They're kind of like it kind of seems like Josh Brolin is actually a younger Tommy Lee Jones in some weird reality skip, like, whoa, maybe Josh Brolin is like an alternate world. Forget it. So yeah, 2 really good actors in a movie. And there's a young girl in the movie. She's sort of one of the central characters. She's the daughter of one of these big bad cartel leaders, and she was a pretty great actress, actually, for her age, I don't know how old she was in the film, but a lot of emotion. Forget, I'm going to get into the movie a little bit. This is light spoilers, very light. There's a scene where there's like a military convoy, and they're transporting this daughter of a cartel leader. So they're taking her from America back into Mexico, and it's a military convoy, so it's like 3 military, like U.S. military cars, with a Mexican police car in the front, a Mexican police car in the back, and probably like 2 other Mexican police cars. And the Mexican police decide to turn on the American government, and so the Mexican police and the little like the platoon or the squadron of American soldiers get into a firefight. And so when this happens, the American soldiers tell the girl to stay in the back seat. And this scene is so intense because, like, the scene with the Mexican police and the U.S. Army guys fighting, it's pretty standard action movie combat, shooting guns. Somehow the good guys have impeccable aim, yet the bad guys have the worst aim of all time. But the thing that carries the scene, that really makes it intense, is this young girl trapped in the back seat of a military car while a firefight ensues. And this actress, this young girl, she just portrays so much emotion and so much like genuine fear, so much genuine terror. She's crying. Oh man, it was a great scene. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, certainly recommend it. And speaking of recommendations, I have an album of the week for you guys to listen to. That's going to be a segment on the show. It's just going to be an album that I've been listening to a lot the week of recording the show. So this week's album is the 6th studio album by the great and powerful Ween. If you don't know Ween, this is a great record to start with. It's one of their weirder ones, I would say. It's called The Mollusk. It was released in 1997. And you're probably familiar with one of the big songs from it, Ocean Man, which became sort of a big meme. But this is a really, really great album. It's the first Ween album, I'm pretty sure, where they had their full band, because originally it was Gene and Dean Ween, the two dudes of Ween, and they would record everything. And I think they played with like a drum machine, and their records were very bare bones. It was like Gene and Dean doing like bass and guitar and then a drum machine. And I think when they performed live, they even just used a drum machine. I could be totally wrong about that. And some Ween fanboys are going to be on me for it. So the record right before The Mollusk, 12 Golden Country Greats, was technically the first Ween album to feature, musicians beyond Gene and Dean. But The Mollusk was the first record to use Claude Coleman on the drums, Glenn McClelland on keyboard, and Dave Drywitz on bass, which is it's the incarnation of Ween that exists to this day. That's still their live band. And so, for the most part, this is the first Ween record where Ween is really Ween. Now, of course, Gene and Dean are the heart and soul of Ween, but what is a heart and soul without arms, legs, a body, stuff like that? And that's what I think Claude and the other dudes add to Ween. So anyways, the reason I recommend this album to you is because I've recommended Ween to a lot of people. But Ween is not one of those bands that if I'm like, hey, you should listen to Ween, and you go to Spotify or something and you look at the top 5 songs and you listen to those 5, you're not going to really get a picture of what Ween is, because Ween is something different every record. And so to understand Ween, you really need to listen to a whole record front to back. And I think that The Mollusk is the most accessible of the Ween records, maybe Quebec. But The Mollusk, it paints a very clear picture of who Ween is and what they do. And if you listen to the whole record and you're like, dude, I don't know what that was, that's fine. I'm not going to hold it against you. Ween's not for everyone. I just ask that you listen to the whole record before you have any kind of opinion on it, because there's no way to digest Ween that isn't just sitting down and listening to an entire record front to back. So once again, my album recommendation to you this week is 1997's The Mollusk by Ween. Okay, so about this next segment. So we're going to be doing an interview with Joe Pesci, and I was really excited for it. Like, that was going to be a huge thing for the first episode of the show. But Joe's pretty mad. Apparently, at the top of the show, I was sort of talking about Imagine Dragons and how I wasn't that fond of them, and apparently Joe Pesci is a sort of diehard Imagine Dragons fan, so he was a little upset with me at that. And then, to make matters worse, apparently he had auditioned for Sicario 2 and was, quite publicly upset about not being in the film. And yeah, according to my guys, he's not happy with me, but he said he'll still do the phone interview. So, Joe, you there? Hey, Joe. Hey, let's try to watch The Toilet Mouth. That's funny, but I just don't want to, have too much to it.
I mean, what's funny about it?
It's just funny. I don't know. You said Jew funny. You kind of have a,
I mean, so let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
No.
I make you laugh? I'm here to fucking amuse you? What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Joe, I think, I'm trying to do a radio show. I certainly want it to be funny. I hope it's entertaining. I hope there's entertainment value, and that,
Get this through your head, you Jew.
All right, we're going to go ahead and hang up on Joe Pesci if he's going to just continue to use Toilet Mouth as if, this is not a family-friendly radio show. No Toilet Mouth allowed. But, wow, what a bummer. I mean, I guess I made him really mad. Wasn't really how I planned on ending the show, but hey, life happens. Life's unexpected. Well, I want to thank you for listening. Despite how it went, I want to thank Hollywood actor Joe Pesci for taking time to be mean to me. And hopefully going to be uploading episodes every week, so certainly check back. And again, thank you for listening. I've been Jake. Have a great day.